Okay, so I used to be friends with this girl's sister. So me and this girl, we'll call her V, we're in the same class together. One day, her sister, we'll call her Lillian, joined our class as well. Along with her sister Lillian, another friend also came along, and we'll go ahead and call her Rebecca. So now there was 4 people in our group, me, V, Rebecca, and Lillian. Now, I was really cool and friends with V's sister until I started getting mixed feelings about her. So one thing about her sister and the friend is that they love to talk shit. Like, they love to run their mouth a lot. Fast forward a bit after they both moved into our classroom, I was in the bathroom with a friend. Now, I don't remember exactly what me and my friend were talking about. Me and my friend were standing in front of the bathroom mirrors when I told her I have the biggest tatas here in the room. And V's sister Lillian and her friend Rebecca were also in the bathroom, but we weren't together. They overheard me say that. So like I said, me and my friend were in the bathroom, and I don't remember exactly what we were talking about, but I ended up saying that I have the biggest tatas in the room. V's sister and her friend were also in the bathroom, but they weren't with us. That's when Rebecca turns around and looks at me, and she was like, "That's not something to be proud of, okay?" And then she was like, "Well, I don't care because they're probably plastic anyway." So now, I don't know exactly why I did this, but it was more of like a heat in the moment type of thing. I ended up flashing both Rebecca and Lillian to show them that they were real. After that, they ended up telling everyone in the school about what happened. And when I was on the bus later that day, a boy brought it up. And he was like, "So I heard you flash Lillian and Rebecca." And the only thing I could think to say was, "Well, she did it to me before." So now, I was at the back of the bus and she was in the front of the bus. So she heard me say that. And she got really upset. After that, the people in the bus kept giving her false information the entire time. So now she says she wanted to fight me, and now she's threatening me. I'm also pretty sure the school is going to get involved with it one way or another. And I'm going to have to tell my mom, and she's going to whip my ass. And I'm probably going to get my phone taken away and suspended as well. Storytime! Okay, so this happened when I was around 12 or 11 years old. And this was also back when COVID began, so there was no school. So that meant that I got to stay up late all the time. So anyways, I used to be friends with this girl that my mom used to babysit all the time. We'll call her Apple. Now, Apple's grandma was a foster parent. And at the time, she was fostering this one girl, and we'll go ahead and call her Watermelon. So me, Apple, and Watermelon were friends. And this one night while I was at home staying up late, for some reason, I guess Apple and Watermelon just decided that they wanted to prank me. So Apple gave Watermelon my phone number, and then she called me around 1 in the morning. And I didn't pick up because obviously it was an unknown number. So I just left it at that. So then at this point, I see that my phone is ringing again. But it's not Watermelon, it's Apple this time. So I pick up the phone and I'm like, "Yeah, what's up?" And Apple was like, "Hey, me and Watermelon are 3 blocks away from your house. We're walking over there right now." And I told her, "Apple, it's 1 in the morning. What are you and Watermelon doing walking to my place?" And she was like, no, we're 3 blocks away, like, we're gonna be there soon. So then Apple hangs up the phone, and a few more minutes pass by, and I get another phone call. And it's Apple again. I pick up, and instead of hearing her be like, "Oh, we're here," I hear her crying in the background. So like I said, Apple and Watermelon were walking to my house in the middle of the night. After they hung up and told me they were on their way, Apple called me back. And when I picked up, I heard Apple crying in the background. That's when Apple was like, "Hey, like, we got stopped by the police." And she was crying nonstop, and I was just like, "Pues ves por pendejas." While we were on the phone, I heard them tell the police all of my information. And that's when I realized that my mom didn't have her green card. So she was here illegally, and now I started crying. The reason I started crying is because I didn't want my mom to get sent back to Mexico. So then after that, the police ended up calling Apple and Watermelon's grandma. And of course, because they ended up giving the police my information, Apple and Watermelon's grandma ended up calling my mom. And let me tell you guys, this grandma was like really mean. After the grandma called, I heard my mom walk into my room. And I just pretended like I was sleeping, but I had my phone in my hand. So obviously she knew that I was awake. So then after that, my mom went back to her room and woke up my dad. They came back together, and to my surprise, they weren't mad at me. They just explained to me that I should have told them what was happening. And of course, the grandma was pissed because it was the middle of the night, but oh well. After that, Watermelon went away the next day, and I haven't seen her since that night. Storytime! Okay, so a while ago on this one particular night, I decided to go walking to the mailbox so I could get our mail. When I walked out the house, it was around 6 or 7-ish, so it wasn't super dark, but the sun was starting to set. Now, all of my life, I've been scared to go places by myself. The reason for that is because I have heard so many stories of abductions and trafficking, all kinds of things. On my way to the mailbox, I was walking with my phone in my hand and my head down because I didn't want to pay attention to anyone around me. And there was also people out, so I didn't want anyone trying to talk to me. I'm getting closer to the mailbox now, and it's just a few minutes away, and as I turned the corner, I had seen a car from the corner of my eye. And it wasn't just a regular car driving by. This one caught my attention for a specific reason. The car was parked close to the mailbox that I was going to. And I could see that someone was sitting in the car. I tried to think nothing of it and I just pretended like everything was perfectly fine. So I continued walking to the mailbox and I finally get there. Now, obviously I'm a little scared at this point, so I just decided to hurry up and grab the mail as fast as I can. It was when I had opened the box and I started grabbing the mail that I had seen that the car was pulling up just a little bit, but it was very slow. Almost as if they were trying to not make it obvious that I could see them getting closer to me. So I was scared and I just decided to hurry up and grab the mail as fast as I could. It was when I had opened the box and started grabbing the mail that I had seen the car pull up just a little bit, but very slowly. I started grabbing the mail as fast as I possibly could and my heart was racing at this point. After that, I turned around and the car started moving forward and began to roll its windows down. That's when I decided that I wasn't going to wait any longer and I started running as fast as I could away from the car. As I'm running, I turned to look if the car is still behind me and the car was following me as I was running home. And I was crying so hard but I couldn't help it, like someone was chasing after me. So I'm still running and I'm now a few houses away from my house when I hear someone call my name. I stopped running and I look back and guess who I see? Yeah, it was my dad standing outside from the car I was running from. It turns out that my dad was going to surprise me that day because I don't get to see him as often. And he was on the phone parked on the side of the street when he had seen me checking the mail and just decided to surprise me right there and then. After I found out that it was my dad, I obviously was relieved. But I'm still traumatized to this day going back to check that mailbox by myself even though my dad has apologized multiple times for that day.